We asked avid road racers for their honest feedback on the track day performance of the new Maxxis Victra VR2 tire. Here's what they said.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Lugod.
I'm Aaron Gong.
My name is Bill Hinomoto.
My name is Eli Mansour.
I drive the Shaftworks USA 2023 Subaru BRZ.
I drive this 2020 Subaru BRZ.
I drive a 2017 BMW M2.
I drive a 2003 E46 wagon.
Lap time consistency is fairly consistent. I would say the first 4 laps on both tracks were probably around its quickest. They start to taper off within a second after lap 4. They didn't seem to really fall off hard towards lap 7 through 10. So it seems like a tire that you can definitely manage while on the track.
Essentially, you can clock lap times within a half second of each other back to back, half dozen laps. Lap 1 takes a little time to warm up the tires. By lap 2, the pace is getting a little faster. By lap 3, I'm getting the peak time. And essentially, you can hold that peak time within a quarter second for the next 2 laps. And then you can still hold it within a half second of that peak lap time for the remainder of the session.
Really well feedback tire to the driver. Grip is there, and it does last longer than other competitor tires I've used. I highly recommend it for any type of driver, from beginner all the way to advanced driver.
I know it's subjective, but to me it was impressive, and I would rate it actually as the top Super 200 tire as far as consistent lap after lap. So what I noticed, the first hot lap is fast, the second hot lap is the fastest. After that, the drop-off is very marginal compared to other tires. So literally, unless the temperature maybe like 110, 100 outside, if it, let's say, anywhere between 60 to 90 degrees, you can literally put about 4 to 5 laps super fast, and a drop-off is, like I said, is like marginal. You're talking tenths of a second.
In terms of braking performance, it's very consistent. I can tell that there's a lot of grip coming into the corner, hitting the brakes. That gives a lot of confidence knowing that I have the brake modulation to continue trail braking towards the apex.
It's very progressive. You're able to control without triggering ABS. You're able to carry a lot of speed on corner entry. You can essentially cut the distance of the braking zone by a significant margin.
It doesn't change the braking point as much as other competitor tires, and it stops really well. Horizontal grips were really great.
When you hit the brake in certain areas, for example, racers will understand that the off-ramp in Bon Willow, our cars are famous for going into a ice mode. So I noticed with it, it kind of minimizes it, even if you get it. If you had to kind of like swing it or adjust it, it's very predictable and it gives you feedback under braking.
Corner performance, I'd say the tire has a lot of braking and acceleration grip. I'd say on the lateral side of things, mid-corner, it has a fair amount of grip, probably not as peaky grippy as other potential tires. But I would say on a whole, it's a very well-rounded tire. It's something that you can confidently come into a corner, lean into the tire, know where it's gonna go, and that's how you can stay consistent.
For me, I'm able to carry a lot of entry speed and adjust the mid-corner, and the tire is able to respond depending on how I want to adjust for that exit. And once you're on full throttle on exit, the tire really just wants to just carry all that speed. In terms of exit, it's very clean.
It was very direct. It felt like sidewalls were really stiff compared to others. Slip angle was smaller too, so whatever I demand, it's very easy to make an initiation of it. And yet it grips really well lateral.
Very predictable, very, very crisp, like you can feel what the car is doing. Mid-corner, it gets loose a little bit, you have to kind of modulate it. And at the exit, if I'm completely transparent, the lateral grip in that tire stands above every Super 200 tire that I've driven before. Once you punch it, it does get loose a little bit, but what I noticed, it's more of a power slide than a drift. It keeps pushing the car forward.
Handling at the limit, it's very communicative. So I know immediately under heavy braking, the tire starts to make some noise. It kind of gives you that audible feedback. As we're coming into the corner, mid-corner, it is pretty talkative. You can give it more steering angle and it will kind of eat it up quite a bit, let you know that, hey, this is the limit. There's quite a bit of a window for mistakes start to happen, and it's a very forgiving tire.
On breakaway, it's very correctable. There's a larger window compared to other tires I've tried, and you're able to kind of learn what you can do with it, and it'll actually teach you to become a better driver. What it's teaching in terms of becoming a better driver is to be able to recognize what that limit is. It's screaming at you, and when it stops screaming, then you know that you're already at the limit and it's probably already too late. But if you're able to notice that responsiveness and communication from the tire, you are able to correct ahead of time, and you won't blow up your lap.
It's still consistent and very progressive. It doesn't snap like some other tires, and even when it slides out, it just grips right away. You just make minor correction and it'll just grip. Even overheating the tire, it never felt like I was out of control.
When you load the car, especially in a high-speed corner, it does, like at the limit, it snaps a little bit. It's semi-predictable. But what I liked about the tire, it's super easy to control. So even if it slides a little bit, it gives you warning at the edge in there, and you can control it and keep going. So it comes in handy for either like a beginner driver, it's forgiving, or an experienced driver who knows how to modulate it to go faster.
Heat cycle performance, I find that the tire comes alive around the second heat cycle. So on my first track day, maybe the first session is fairly quick, but I noticed that second session goes much quicker. But I noticed that they improve and then they start to taper down. So second, third, and fourth track day, while the times stay relatively the same, the feeling does change quite a bit. Not in a drastic way where it's negative, but it is definitely different.
It's excellent. From track day to track day, you're able to sustain that time. So your peak lap times could be the first track day, and they don't really fall off after that until maybe your 7th track day. And even up to now with 100 laps, I was able to set a pretty fast time at my last track day. So on the first track day, essentially it's the compound release. So it's a little bit squirrely, trying to break in the tire. You'll need to scrub it for at least one session. After that session, you'll get your peak lap time. Then on the next track day, the times may say fall half a second. From there, that you can sustain that pace up until maybe your 4th track day. And then it doesn't really fall off too hard. I would say the highlight is really how many heat cycles the tire can take. As somebody who is casual track day goer, we like to try and make tires last. So to be able to sustain a quick lap time, it may not be the fastest, but it can help the budget for the year.
The tires have about 6 track days on them, and altogether I think between 12 to 15 heat cycle. Like I said before, it ran a 120. We went 2 weeks ago, 90 degrees, same configuration. After 5 track days, it was the 6th track day, I believe, it ran a 121 in like scorching heat outside. The drop-off was 1 second, which is rather impressive. I did not expect that. So all in all, it's the tire, it seems like longevity is going to be really nice for us, track car drivers or racers or whatnot.
The type of driver that would like the VR2 would be your track rat, a guy that's constantly at the track every weekend. It's a tire that inspires wanting to go fast, and it doesn't punish you when you go over the limit. And so because of that, you can keep pushing the limit and stay on the track and learn to go faster. And I believe that the faster advanced drivers would also like the tire because it's so playful. You can really push the limits, and maybe the lap times may not go faster, but you could definitely have fun doing it.
Somebody who's looking for a double duty tire, this tire can withstand a lot of heat cycles as well as have a pretty quick pace. So you're able to drive it to and from home, straight to the track, and then drive back on the same tires. It's really hard to compare to the other faster tires where they might not make it through the day. The benefit of a tire for, say, an amateur would be a quicker pace, for sure. For an immediate driver is learning to find the limit of the tire, since the tire is able to communicate to you. And for the advanced person, it would be able to have a tire that lasts quite a while compared to other.
Maxxis VR2 on street, just regular daily driving, was very quiet compared to other tires. Obviously, it's a 200 tread wear tires. It's not as loud as others, pretty comfortable. Also, the sidewall feels pretty stiff, but even small bumps didn't bother me at all. And feels like I can take it on the road trip too, if I want to. This could be the next time attack tire.